going to have a similar title, but it's got to be different.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome everyone to Spirit Cafe Sessions with Nikki and
And still Kim.
Still Kim. I love that. So we have an exciting update in a sense. This episode is leading into this cool series that Kim's going to do on TikTok. So she's going to explain it. You want to just head out and explain?
Yeah. So recently I've been getting certain things that have come to me that have been somewhat
Downloads?
profound. Yeah. And they've been profound, or I've been hearing things from people, and it has made me want to deep dive into them. So I am hopefully going to be starting on TikTok, or I'm looking at starting on TikTok in May. So this month, weekly, I'm going to do a series, and it's going to be Stay Open and Stay Wise. So we're going to talk about different things, about being a skeptic, being, how we've talked about being the, you know, dime store or thrift store
No,
version.
thrift store, Walmart version.
Walmart version. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
have, we'll talk about that. Um, not everything is spirit. So I'm gonna actually go into each of those things. So I will be doing probably about an 8 episode on TikTok only, though.
Yeah.
But we will talk about it here. So today, though, we are, we kind of alluded to, talked about it a little bit after the reading in the last episode, but I had heard John Edward. He's been talking about a whole bunch of different things, been doing different book tours and stuff. And in there, he keeps saying, be a skeptic, not a cynic. So I thought that's pretty interesting. And I
Yeah.
decided to look into it. And so this today, we're actually going to add on to it, though. Where is it? What was that we're going to put in there? All right.
And the space in between.
Well, um, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a space in between which people never really think about.
Yeah. Yeah. The third part of
Um,
it.
the third part of it. And
Open
you know what's funny?
observer.
You know what's funny? I used to be such a heavy skeptic and then an open observer, and it used to drive my family crazy.
Hmm.
They would drive, oh my God, they hated it. They're Catholic, so I'd have
Hmm.
to know why, and I'd have to see the evidence all the time. Anyway,
Oh.
um, the card I pulled is like
Mm.
perfect
Is it? What is
because
it?
the Seven of Wands,
Oh.
which is, yes, an ego-based card, but also a card of defending something
Mm.
sometimes to a degree, with absolute certainty, and that can sometimes be positive and a lot of times can be negative,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes when this card pops up it's telling me I'm dealing with someone who is defending something, a belief themselves, a situation, but it might be a tunnel vision type of situation you've got going on there, meaning you are defending it without really looking at the other points of view or the other scenarios. And in some instances, not all, in some instances, guys, you gotta look, you gotta be skeptical. You gotta look. So it's
Yes.
kind of perfect because this week you guys might be feeling as if you are on high alert. You might be feeling like you're very defensive. You might be feeling like you've got to protect something. So before you project and fly off the wagon, take a step, take a breather, take a step back. Do not react, but respond and see what you can learn from the situation. And maybe there is some healthy skepticism there with whatever you're dealing with. There's a healthy, different perspective, I'm sure.
And this is whether you're talking about, you know,
Anything.
mediumship,
Hmm.
life in general. People tell you stories, relationships, everything. You want to
Yeah.
have a healthy skepticism. And I know personally, sorry, we're just, oh, what happened? Where'd you go? Nikki?
I'm still here. It's
Oh,
recording on my side.
no, I just, it's mine's turning. So as long as you can see me, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I know personally, was very skeptical actually even about tarot readings.
Yeah.
I wasn't ever really sure that that was right. I kind of thought, oh, they could be, trying to pull something over on you.
Yeah.
And I did. I was skeptical. And there's pretty much every single thing to do with any of this world. I have been skeptical about every single thing until I experienced it.
Yeah.
So unless I experience something, I am skeptical. And even when I have experienced something that happens, I still have a healthy skepticism because the answers aren't always there all the time, right? Like, doesn't answer everything. And there's a difference between being a skeptic and being a cynic. So when you're a skeptic, you ask questions. You're interested. You want to know like why, how. You want to see it happen. You want to experience it. When you're a cynic, you're just there. You don't really want to experience it. You just want to be able to give your opinion, and it doesn't matter because you've already decided what the answer is.
I was gonna say, and it doesn't matter what the person says because you're right and they're wrong in your brain.
So they come into it already with their mind made up and just wanting to, I guess, put egg on your face or whatever you want to say.
Egg on your face.
Yeah. So when I was doing this, I was saying, so skepticism and cynicism, they're kind of like cousins because they're very similar, and a lot of people don't know this thing, right?
I like that. Yeah.
So a lot of times you would just think they're the same. But a comparison when I was kind of preparing was skepticism is like the cousin who brings pie to the family barbecue. Okay. A cynic is the one who brings the unsolicited opinions.
Oh, I was gonna say it's the drunk cousin at the.
I was gonna, yeah,
barbecue.
yes, usually the drunk uncle
The
or
drunk
the drunk
cousin
cousin,
at the barbecue.
telling
Yeah.
everybody everything, and they
Yeah.
know everything, and
Yeah.
they have no education or little to no education, and they've just made their own decisions, and
That's right.
usually aren't doing very good in life either, but they have the opinions, right?
Uh huh. Yeah, it's the drunk cousin at the family reunion.
Yeah. What are
Won't
you
let
drinking?
everybody else talk.
I see you have your
Oh,
tea.
I do have my tea. I'm just drinking. I just went with plain green tea.
Oh, okay.
Just a green tea jasmine blend from Steve's Tea, which is a local to me. I had a very busy weekend. I had a family member down. He's down for the week, so we've been spending a lot of time together. And so yesterday was a day of eating like not the best food, And as someone
Sometimes that's
who
fun.
eats, it is, but as someone who eats healthy, like at least 5 to 6 days a week, like sometimes it gets me. So today I definitely felt the effects of, the creme brulee and, the cheddar cauliflower soup, which was delicious. And I actually don't regret it. I don't care. And the chocolates and all that stuff. So it's green tea day.
Well,
It's
that's
green tea
good.
and kale salad day today. That's what it was.
And I think people just don't really realize how what you put in your body really affects you.
Oh,
So
Lord.
once you,
You can tell.
yeah, but you don't until you've actually taken the opportunity to kind of eat clean, things that don't upset your system, things that don't enhance inflammation. That's a big thing, is the inflammation in your body.
Yep.
So when you start going into these things, like I know myself, I don't eat a lot of sugar and garbage like that. But when I do, sometimes I go on little like candies. I don't like chocolate, but it's candies. If I'm eating
Ooh,
like
what kind of
candies or
candies?
whatever, oh gosh, like I love the like sweet tarts, or I love the atomic fireballs that you can hardly get
Oh,
anymore.
I like the
Those
fireballs.
like
Yeah.
I love cinnamon. So,
Gotta get them at like candy shops now, like specific candy shops. You can't find them anywhere.
but that's only because they bring them in from somewhere.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when I go and I start eating those, because sometimes it's a little bit ridiculous, but then I'll wake up and I won't be able to move my fingers,
I believe
and
it.
I'll feel
Your
really
stomach's weird,
sore.
your body's yeah,
Yeah.
you feel actually physically sore. That's what
Yeah.
happened to me today. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah. And so, yeah, that brings you in. So there's a thing about being skeptical or cynical about your diet, right? Somebody
True.
could be
Yeah.
cynical and say, oh, it doesn't matter what you eat. You're always, we're all just going to die or whatever. Of course, we all are going to die. It's a good
Of course,
point.
but I don't
But
want
do you want to feel
diseases and
good while
sickness.
you're living?
Yeah,
Do you
I
want to
do.
have, and I'm not saying that people who, are gonna eat healthy all the time are going to be healthy constantly and whatever. But, a cynic would absolutely be like, doesn't matter what I eat. You can tell me
100%.
whatever you want. But a skeptic would be like, well, what is it? Like, you tell me what,
Yeah.
what would be
Yeah.
an idea? And then,
Mm-hmm.
would be willing to try. And, it's the questions. You only get educated from the questions.
Cynics don't like questions.
No,
They don't like questions.
no.
No.
They only want to be justified in their decided
Their
answer.
answers.
So, in this world, though, we need to have it. It's a survival skill to be a skeptic.
100%.
And who wants to hang out with the cynics? Like loud opinions, closed minds.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah.
There's always you got to find a healthy balance between the two. That's, I guess, the third thing. That's a lot of things people, I don't think a lot of people realize that, because I didn't realize that there's a power in having a balance between the both in your life. Because being a cynic at times, yeah, it will protect you, absolutely. But there's a fine line between being cynical about something for protection and being cynical about something to be a butthead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To be cynical about something that protects you, understandable, but to be cynical about something out of stubbornness and pride and ego, two different things, by the way, guys. You're not you're not going to grow and you're not going to evolve. Let's just put it that way. You won't. You won't, because cynics, what it's like, stonewall you. It's stonewalled. Nothing gets through. No new information, no new perspectives, no new experiences in that sense. No. And it's not a very happy way to live.
No. And I can tell you, cynics, they don't hear a thing you say. They can ask you for an answer, but you might as well be Charlie Brown's teacher, because that's all they're going to hear. And they'll just be, you might even see their lips moving already, because they're already answering your question or answering what you're saying or replying to what you're saying without actually listening or taking the opportunity to see what you're saying to them.
Yeah, without taking it in, right? So important. And Kim and I are both skeptics. I have to see the evidence. I'm super logical. I even with my beloved law of assumption, I didn't believe it even after reading it in papers and even listening to Neville Goddard's lectures from 1920. I didn't. I had to see it to believe it. Sometimes that does bite me in the butt. But having a healthy level of I can't speak. Skepticism. Can't say the word. Can't say the word today, guys. Skepticism.
It's
Thank
your
you.
turn.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm
Having
usually
a
the one
healthy
with the
level.
Of skepticism.
That's right. Having a healthy level of that, it's good for your consciousness. It's good for your soul, because you're skeptical, but you are still willing to listen and to learn. That's the big difference between the two, because there's so many people people confuse what being a skeptic is and being a cynic so much.
Oh yeah.
And the two biggest things is that when you're a skeptic, you're skeptical, but you're going to be willing to listen and learn and maybe see the evidence for yourself. If you're a cynic, no matter what, no, period. No period, no period to everything. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Well, because skepticism, it is very healthy, because you are, even though you're skeptical of something, you want to actually see the answer. You want it.
Yes.
It's like
You're curious.
you actually do want to have someone have it somehow proved to you in one way or the other. Where a cynic, they already know, they've already decided, there's no proving, because they've already done it.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Those are the ones that when they come for readings, they'll be, very, like, they'll shut down a reading,
God.
and then not understand why. Oh, well, see, nothing happened. Well, because you weren't allowing yourself to open up for me to work with you.
Energy is a very big thing, whether you're a skeptic or a cynic. This is the thing, but I have a lot of cynics related to me. We'll just leave it at that. Their energy, you you need a vice grip. Like, their energy is just so, it's like it's steel. It's steel. And then they wonder, and I'm not saying all cynics are like this, but a lot of cynics wonder why certain things don't go their way, or
Most things don't go
why,
their way.
yeah, why they are easy to fall into, negative addictive patterns, why they are emotionally, mentally, and physically unhealthy. They underestimate the power of energy, right? Especially their own energy. When you're a cynic, I have never met, I'll be honest, and maybe we'll meet one now that I'm saying this. I have never met a positive cynic.
No, me
And
neither.
maybe there is one out
I
there.
hope
And if you're
so.
out there, put it in the chats, because I feel like that's amazing and we need to talk to you. But I've never met a positive cynic.
And another thing with the cynics is, you know, when you think back to all the different conversations we've had, even in our episodes here, we've said before, it your words are your script. So what you're putting out there is what is going to happen to you. So no, you know what? Nothing's going to be good for you because you're always saying nothing's ever good for me, and you're putting it out there. So yes, you're in the self-perpetuating cycle. No, that's not going to happen. Nothing good ever happens to me. Well, you know what? You are telling the universe, you're telling spirit, you're telling God, whatever you want to call it, that
Yeah.
nothing ever works out for you, and you are fine with that because that is the statement that you are making.
Yep. That's it. That's literally it.
you know and it's really sad to have people go through that, because being a cynic, it's very, very sad.
I find I was thinking about this when you brought this up to me last night. I was thinking about this because I was thinking about how it relates to, just spirituality, for example. Okay, let's just take spirituality, not any other religion. How it pertains to that. It's very interesting because I feel like with spirituality, a lot of people kind of fall into like two categories where you either like you believe it, you're open, you're intuitive, you're willing to learn, you're Alice in Wonderland. And then complete cynics who question like everything. They'll question it like Alice in Wonderland does, but they don't believe it. So they'll question it and they don't believe it. And I was thinking about that because I feel like a lot of times with spirituality, people fall into one of those two main categories. Not to say that there aren't people like me and you who are like skeptical, to a healthy degree. We question everything, and there are certain things. I'm not gonna lie, I am cynical about certain things, but I'm cynical about certain things because I've seen the harm that they've done to the collective, right? There are certain things I'm cynical about, as there are certain things Kim's cynical about, because again, she saw the harm that it does. So I found that interesting because I think that's true, that there's basically two categories that people will fall into, right?
Yeah. And this life, you can't enjoy it. You can't have all that's open for you unless you are wanting to see positive. You're wanting to see proof of things that make you better, make you more informed. Like Nikki and I both are skeptics, so we are both doom scrollers, and we will be looking and finding stuff just to find answers. We're both going to be, if there's something that gets us, we get going and we just go down that
Yeah.
little hole trying to find out more about it.
Yeah. Yeah. My sister has a saying. She always says, if once I discover something new, I got to go all the way down. I got to go, no matter what it is, I got to know everything about it, every single tiny little piece of information. Thank you, Gemini brain. And it's true. I do. And it's because I will, whatever I come across, whatever's new, whether it's tarot, whether it's mediumship, whether it's the law of assumption, before that, law of attraction, I had to, I had to figure out myself if it was I felt like it was real. Do you know what I mean? I had that healthy level of skepticism. And even though, like previously I said, yes, there seems to be two categories when it comes to spirituality, I do believe that there are, like I said, there is a third, but it's not talked about as much. This is the one where you're skeptical, but it's like you're open and you're grounded at the same time. You know, you want to learn, but you're not going to trust everything like that. You know, there is that third thing. I don't know what we would even call that, but I do feel like there's a lot of people in the spiritual community that fall into that third category that is very rarely talked about, because all we see is that you believe in tarot, you believe in mediumship, you believe in pendulums, that's what you believe in, or you don't believe in any of it. But there's the people in between,
It's almost
right?
like a skepticism with healthy boundaries.
Yeah, exploring. It's like exploring. Yeah.
Because you don't want to come across as being gullible. You're not going to just believe every single thing that happens, and
Yeah.
that's not healthy either, because you're buying, I don't know, gold from some ice fisherman in Antarctica,
Mm-hmm.
and you're dating Brad Pitt, who's now apparently living in Russia. You know, um
Is he for real, or is this just
no, I'm
Instagram?
saying like these are the people that get involved in, like you see these people. There was one lady who thinks
Oh, yeah,
she's
she thought it was
dating,
Brad Pitt.
no, one who thinks
That's
she's
awful.
dating Matt Rife, and she's like
Oh,
in her 70s or something, and she
what was
thinks
another
that,
one?
and
Oh,
he's asking
jeez.
her for money, and
Oh,
she's giving him like, she's selling her house and giving him like half the money of the house, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
no, not
Celebrities
healthy.
won't ask you guys for money ever,
No, no.
ever, 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 ever.
I have seen the odd
The GoFundMe is fine, but
GoFundMe
I mean, they're
thing.
not going to go in your DM and ask for
No,
money, guys. They're not. The GoFundMe pages are different, but they're not going to go into your DMs and ask for money. Brad Pitt does not want your money.
and he's not asking you for Apple gift cards.
No.
Payments in some kind of weird, or crypto. He's not going to be asking you for crypto. Um, it's just not going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
They got their own lives, they got their own business. I'm pretty sure they don't need to try to hunt down some poor
No.
old soul who's sitting on their computer and willing to give away their life's
Exactly.
savings to someone.
Exactly.
So
How cynical of us. I'm
I
kidding.
know, gosh, healthy skin cynicism.
I'm kidding. All
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. It just, being a
Y-
medium,
Yeah.
I work with integrity. Like I want people to see me as providing a high quality service. Um, that is not me trying to, like we've talked about this before. I'm not researching people. I'm not allowing, I like, when people start giving me too much information or giving me information, I usually try to stop them, because it's like, no, like if you want to give me this information, you might as well not be paying me to give you a reading, and you might as well just tell me your story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
know uh I
It's hard because with spiritualism, um, stories where mediums are proven correct, or they don't make the headlines as much as the stories where the mediums are proven incorrect. Sylvia Brown, good example. She was proven right with COVID, right? That fell under the radar. But what made the headlines was all the times that she was wrong. So we like, as mediums, we do understand the skepticism that we come across, or the cynical people we come across, because I mean, this is all that they see in the news, is that tarot readers, mediums, whoever else ripped off all these people, told them they needed to get cleansed, they needed to do a ritual to whatever, get rid of bad karma and whatnot. So we are very aware why so many people are cynical when it comes to spiritual tools and
Yes.
elements that we use. We're very aware of it. It doesn't really bother me and Kim, but I know that it does bother quite a lot of mediums out there, because I've seen it on TikTok, I've seen it on YouTube, and it does very much bother them. And it makes me sad because it's bothering the ones that I know, like Kim, have integrity, that I know are good at their craft, if you want to call it a craft. And it's sad because it takes one or two to ruin it for everybody, and then it will take one or two cynics to spread it like wildfire and kind of spread the cynicism around. You know what I mean? It's kind of, yeah. So that's the one thing that really bothers me when it comes to cynical people, is because I know that you are telling that to so many people. And I have actually seen, and I don't know, maybe Kim has as well, I have seen cynical people. Do you ever notice this? They will try to convince someone that they know is maybe, I don't want to say weak, but I can't think of another word, vulnerable, to their side, kind of like convict to be a yeah, right, to be a cynic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my biggest pet peeves, because I don't see that often with people who are skeptic. I,
No.
I do see that people who are skeptic will be like, well, I mean, don't you think that you should have evidence? Don't you? They play devil's advocate, like, don't you agree with me that we should have evidence? But with cynics, it's very, I'm right. Don't you know I'm right? Like, look at how I'm right. Like, how can you not see that I'm right? There's a pushy quality, which I don't like about
Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot of cynics, right?
yeah. And the thing is, these people didn't become cynics like right out of the boat.
No, not overnight.
There's something deep there. There's like, it's not always arrogance. It can come from hurt. It come from disappointment, unanswered prayers, moments where life didn't turn out how you wanted. So, and then these people, they will, kind of tighten up and be like, okay, let's not get hurt again. Let's
Yeah,
not
that's
get
it.
teased again. Let's not get taken
It's a
advantage of again.
shield.
Let's be, let's just not get our hopes up, right? Where if you have skepticism, it's like, don't close off, you know? Like,
Yeah,
we can still, like, there's still a possibility. Don't let the past isn't always indicative of your future,
no,
because if you make changes, things change. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. So as soon as you start making those steps for that change, then you can have different outcomes.
100%.
And people
Yeah,
need to be prepared for that. Be prepared for falling and, getting scraping up your knees or whatever is going to happen in going out to learn about these things. But it helps you with forming your opinions for the future and in different things, and then you could be like, oh, okay, well, I didn't really believe that, but now I saw this, so this happens. Like, again, I thought tarot and stuff like that, I just thought, okay, this is a little bit, I didn't get it, I didn't understand it. I don't the cards, like, I can't keep them in my head. There's
yeah,
just that's my little brain. And it's just too much for me to think that I need to remember. And so I really didn't believe in it. And then I had a reading that I recorded and I listened, and it was very profound.
yeah.
At the time, I thought, okay, well, this is dumb. Like, this is not even, I have no idea what this person's talking about. She's crazy. And turned around, and the day I was walking home trying to figure out what the heck was going on with my life, and went, oh man, I need to listen to that reading. Like,
Yeah,
just came to me, and I
yeah,
listened to it with my mouth open going, what the heck? Like,
yeah.
that is. So that was the moment I realized, oh wow, there is something to that.
Oh, 100%.
Because there, I didn't remember at the time. I just discounted it, because I thought, that what is she talking about? She's crazy. Like, that stuff doesn't happen. And then all of a sudden, I'm going through this, like, this spiritual awakening kind of thing, and very confused about my life. And that's when it was like, oh, you need to listen to this. And I listened to it and went, oh my God, what? Like,
Yeah,
this is serious. So until that moment, I would have just, oh, okay, yeah, it's just something kind of like, the going to the fair for the mind reader, or the lady with the little
oh
crystal
yeah,
ball,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that's really, society really has kind of played up to that being kind of a spooky thing, or a negative
Yeah.
thing, or, like, something that's not right
No,
because
yeah, it's
it,
a scammy thing. Scammy thing.
yeah, and it can be, it absolutely can be. And that's why you need to be discerning and you need to do your work, homework to see who it is that you would trust to give you that
To
experience.
read for you, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So we can't believe everything, and but we can't reject everything either.
We're quick as a society to reject everything, though.
Oh yeah.
Not all of us, but as a society, we are very quick. And it's and it's very interesting, because unless we see evidence, unless we see it in front of our eyes, we will reject it. And it's kind of I mean, it's very interesting because from my perspective, I am a big I need to believe it to see it type thing. I got to go through it myself. I got to and then I know it's legit. I've been like that my whole life, and I still sometimes am like that, which is shocking to me because I my entire life, my life runs on the law of assumption. I use the law of assumption every day. It's gotten me. I can't even tell you guys what it's gotten me. Money, people, jobs, promotions, free travel, like everything. I'm a big law of assumptioner, as they call it. But that was the hardest thing for me to be, because in order to really move into the law of assumption, and in order to start rewiring your life that way and living your life that way, you will not have evidence. You have to trust and you have to believe without a shadow of a doubt that that is going to happen no matter what you see or hear in front of you. You do not have the evidence. It is the belief, it is the trust, it is the surrender in something beyond you, okay? That will then give you the evidence. You will not get the evidence first and then believe it. And that is something, because law of assumption, we know it's massive right now, that a lot of people miss. A lot of people go in there wanting to get that guy or wanting to get that job, wanting to get that money, and they start working on it to get it without falling back and realizing you have it. Trust that you have it. One of the hardest things for me to do was when I was starting out 4 years ago. I think it was a job promotion I wanted at the time. Oh my God, I can't even. A job promotion. There was money I wanted. I can't. It was money in a job promotion, something like that. I struggled because I had to give up getting it before I could believe it. I had to believe it and know it before. But once I hit that and once it happened and I saw the power of belief, the power of surrender, trust, the power of your mind, my skepticism, it kind of changed. It changed. I went about everything a completely different way. I think with a lot of spiritual tools, a lot of spiritual craft, whatever, you have to trust, and no matter what it is, whether it's you're working with law of assumption, whether you're working with, tarot, whether you're going to a mediumship, you have got to put that trust out there to God, to energy, to whatever source, whatever you believe in, because at the end of the day, that is what is going to move things out of the way to give you what you want. But you've got to trust it without seeing the evidence first. And that's the hardest part, especially when you're a skeptic. Never mind if you're a cynic, that's never going to work for you. So don't even, don't even cynics. But if you're a skeptic, I'm telling you, that's the hardest thing. Right, Kim? Is that not the hardest thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Law of assumption? Yeah.
yeah.
It's
It
the
is.
hardest thing.
I struggle with that, but this is
Oh yeah, I
where,
still struggle. Four
yeah,
years later, and guys, I will, I can manifest things so easily, but I will struggle with certain things because it's not in front of me.
yeah,
I don't have the evidence. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and so like the middle ground here is to be open but grounded.
Yeah.
Curious, but be
Yeah.
discerning with what you're
Yeah.
doing, and be compassionate, but hold boundaries.
Yes. With yourself too. Hold boundaries with yourself,
Yeah.
guys.
Probably most importantly with yourself,
Yeah.
because it's your boundaries that you are like bending and throwing out the door as soon as you think something you might do could, maybe get you something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to sell yourself short or give in your boundaries, is it really something worth having?
That's right. That's right.
Because at some point you're going to be sitting there going, why did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
What could have
Mm-hmm.
been different if I didn't allow this?
Mm-hmm.
If that's, there a lot of people are in relationships where they allow the other person to take advantage of them or, whatever in any shape or form, you know, but then they're sitting there going, well, like they love me. I think they love me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then they keep into there. And then, after a little bit, they start wondering, like, what do they do for me?
Yeah.
Now your boundaries have been like contorted and completely rearranged, and
Mm-hmm.
you've given them up.
That's actually a good point. Be skeptical with yourselves. You have to be skeptical with yourself sometimes, because like Kim says, if you're not skeptical with yourselves, you don't have boundaries. You've got to be skeptical with yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I'm skeptical. We're both skeptical of ourselves and our actions and of our thought processes sometimes, but we have to be. We have to be, because it also, if you have a healthy skepticism about yourself and the things that you're doing in your life or the way that you want to go, you keep yourself in check. You keep yourself, like, I find like the integrity's there, the ethics are there, right?
And this isn't the same line as a negative thoughts, right?
No,
This
no,
is nothing
no.
like that. But it
Yeah.
can, people can think, oh, well, well, then I shouldn't get my hopes up or I shouldn't, there's a big difference between saying, oh, is this really, is this really something I want? And I can't get it anyhow. So why do we even want to try it?
Very big difference. Very big difference. It's like black and white right there.
Yeah. And one's a
Yeah.
skeptic and one is a cynic.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I think that we should talk about is how to deal with the cynics. We all know how to deal with skeptics. They're just very inquisitive. Most of them, they're very inquisitive. They want it. They want all the answers. They want to know why this is this, this is that. And we generally we know how to deal with skeptics. We give them the best information we can. We lead them on their way. This is what you can look at. And I find most skeptics, yeah, they're not as harsh, I find. I mean, I could
No.
be wrong. Maybe we've come across harsh skeptics before, but I find that most skeptics, they tread a nice line. They're polite, they're well mannered, and it's really just curiosity, and they want to know why you know that. Why do you believe that? Why do you think that way? But I feel like a lot of people more so struggle with cynics than they struggle with skeptics. So, how to
Skeptics,
deal with a
like a
cynic?
skeptic too, though, you got to think of it. If you just want to get it to the base, it's like a toddler,
Yeah,
right?
yep, yep,
Mom, why is the sky blue? Mom, why do you do that? Mom,
yep.
or like, why are, like they, why? That's what they always say, right?
That's it.
Why or
Yeah,
no?
that's a good example. It's like a toddler.
you
Why is
know?
the sky blue? What time do I like what? Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that is
It's yeah,
someone trying to learn. That's
yeah.
not someone who's trying to annoy you, whatever. That's just someone who needs to have certain things answered for it to
Mm-hmm,
work in their own head.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So how to deal with a cynic? So I did say earlier I've never seen a positive cynic, and cynics is negativity. So when I say positive cynic, I mean a cynic that is positive in the sense with their energy, and positive in the way that they treat you, and whether and no projection. Let's just say no projection because a lot of cynics tend to project.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by I've never come across a positive cynic.
Mhm.
Most cynics do all those things. So how to deal with a cynic? That's a good question. I'm very grounded, so when I come across a cynic, and like I've said, I've had members of my family that are cynics. I'm not going to say who they are, but they're there. And if they're listening, they know who they are. They do trigger me. I won't lie, they trigger me. And usually on a good day, I'll just roll my eyes, and be like, yeah, whatever, yeah, whatever. And it doesn't bother me. But if I'm having an off day, or I am just already fried or over exhausted, and it does trigger me, I do have to tell them to take a step back. I do have to tell them, and I will. I will tell them to leave my space, and if they don't leave my space, I will leave their space, because sometimes dealing with a cynic can be very detrimental to your emotional mental health. Um, and for some reason, if we allow it them though, you know what I mean? We allow them. We
We
allow
let them
them
in.
still.
Hmm.
Yeah, always and always.
Hmm.
So if you come across a cynic and you're having a bad day, or you just really just you don't want to be around cynics ever, don't be shy to remove yourself from the situation, or even to tell them that you have to leave that space. You can give them the reason. They'll say something snarky, they'll say something stupid. That's their unhappiness, that's them, that's not you.
Well,
Okay?
yeah,
That's not you.
it's not, and you got to remember that they're just they're they're just there to be happy in their point. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not personal in that sense.
no, no, not at all. It's more about their self esteem, their, what again, what kind of a childhood they had, or if they grew up with people who were always negative all the time and always cynical about everything. Very common that you will be like that. But then there's also people who take that as the challenge and can step up and say, hey, I don't want to be like that.
Yes.
I want to see how good things can be. I don't want to see how bad things can be, because that's really what it works out to be.
And there are cynics that become that they do they become that. They're tired of it because yeah, I guess being a cynic is low vibrational, as young people call it. Your vibe is so low. But that does weigh on you. That does weigh on you. The negativity day after day, month after month, year after year, it does weigh on some people. That they do. They wake up one day and decide, I don't want to be like this anymore. I got to change my ways. I got to change my ways. I got to be more open minded. I got to, whatever it is. And they do change. And I have come across a few cynics in my life that have changed and that are no longer cynical. One of them, actually, I grew up with, very cynical person, and then they went through a health problem, and their doctor told them if they had a different mindset, they probably wouldn't be struggling that much. And it wasn't until the doctor told them that they woke up a couple days later and realized they don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to think like that. Maybe the doctor is right. There are studies out there that say positive attitude when you're dealing with a certain disease cures the disease a lot more faster with a lot less chemicals. And so they did actually turn over a new leaf, and he did beat it. And it was quite aggressive. It was quite aggressive too, but he beat it, and he hasn't had it. It's been 15 years. And if you had met him today, you would have never ever thought that this guy was ever a cynic, and that you never would have blown your mind. You wouldn't have believed me, and you wouldn't have believed him. But I've seen it, and that is one of the biggest cases where I've seen it. And he does tell people, how did you beat it, because it was a very aggressive form of like a male cancer. And he said, well, you did the chemicals, and he's like, I'm telling you right now, though, the biggest thing was that I stopped being a
Butthead.
yes. Yes, yes.
An
I stopped being
angry Andy.
yes, yes. And then he always says, and I expanded my mind. And he did. He expanded his mind. Which I'm not. He did still go to the doctor, and he still did do the therapies, and he still did do that. He didn't just rely on, please don't ever do that. But he will be the first one to tell you that what helped was he stuck to his routine with his doctor, and he expanded his mind, and he completely changed. And he will be the first one to tell you, I changed. I changed.
Well,
It happens.
there's also a thing where if you're doing a reading for somebody or with it, you don't always know that they're a cynic. Um, Sometimes they'll sit in front of you and they will agree to
Yeah.
everything, especially when you're like, hey, do you understand? Yeah, yeah. And then they will turn around and go tell other people, I didn't get anything. I don't understand. There was nothing. Like, I don't know what was going on.
So doing it to be polite
I think some ways it's to
or to not
I don't
embarrass
think it's be
themselves.
polite. I don't think it's being polite. I think it's somebody who goes in and wants to prove that it's,
Hooey.
yeah, and
Yeah.
get information that they will agree to, but they're not going to tell anybody. because that goes against what they had already preconceived.
Interesting. Yeah.
I've
I
had that
believe that.
happen. I've had that happen,
I believe that. I believe that. Yeah.
you know. Um, I've had it happen a few times, uh, and it's frustrating. It's
I believe it.
frustrating. I had one person who did that to me, and then I was talking to her again later on, and she was like, "Oh, well, I didn't understand anything that person said, blah blah blah." And I said,
Hmm.
"Well, that was me, and you did actually take that information, and that wasn't you." Yes, yes, it was me, right? And she actually was, no, that wasn't
That
you.
wasn't you.
And I said, absolutely, it was me. I
I'm
know it was
sorry. I
me.
love that.
And so she said, well, will you give me a reading? And I said, no, I won't. Go see this person because you've
Yeah.
already, you know,
Hmm.
decided at some level that I wasn't giving you the information you wanted, even though you agreed to it. But then you sat there and smack talked me and then wanted me to give you a reading. So what, like there's something going on in their
Yeah.
heads where you need to learn to not, it is, it does, you do take it personally because it's like, what? I
Of
don't
course. Yeah,
get
you
it.
do.
Like you get really angry. Like at least there's no reason to be angry, but it's a confusing, like frustration. Like why would you do that? And then why would you go and sit and talk, like say to other people that you didn't understand it, or trash talk the person who gave you the reading without talking to the person who did the reading first of all. And if you really didn't understand, why did you agree to the information?
Right. Right. Yeah.
you know like never ever feel bad if you're getting a reading and it's like the first 5-10 minutes and there's like absolutely nothing and it feels like, why am I wasting my time? Your medium, your reader should be like, hey, if this isn't working, let's try it another day, or
That's
maybe
right.
you want to see
That's
somebody
right.
else.
That's right.
I don't usually, I prefer not to take money ahead of time.
Hmm.
I prefer to do it after, just because, and I'm not saying because I don't have trust in my abilities. I would rather somebody give me the money after they've had the reading than
Hmm.
before, and then maybe have some kind of a well, I've given you all this money now, so you better, dance and do some
Hmm.
tricks. Because there are those
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And it's a bit to get over. Like the first couple times it happened, I was like, what? Because I don't go in trying to deceive people, right? So it's like I don't really understand what happened there.
Hmm.
If it's very confusing when somebody is and it seems okay. That's why a lot of times when people I do write readings and somebody's like, "Oh, how'd it go?" I'll be like, "I don't know." Like they seemed okay,
Yeah.
but you don't know. You don't really know what somebody's gonna say, and that's fine if they want to be like that. But just with life and everything else, with those people, just remove yourself. Know that they can only make you feel bad if you allow them to make you feel
Yeah.
bad
I
or
was gonna
make you
say that.
feel like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And they don't have that power over you if you don't let them have that power. So you got to say no thanks, and then just go to somebody else. And this is with anything, anything in life. Just move along, because if you've got somebody who's more invested in your failure than in your success, you don't want to be around that person,
It's true.
because there's
Yeah.
those people.
Yeah. It's like at times you feel like like you're repelled from them, you know? It's
Hmm.
like it's the ick feeling,
Yeah.
icky feeling or whatever people say. That's what it is with those people. You can't describe it any other way except for I don't, right?
Well, it's like I've been reading about different stuff with people getting sick, right?
Hmm.
And saying your body, if you're in relationships that aren't good for you, a lot of times you'll get sick.
Yeah, autoimmune diseases.
Yeah. And you will have issues, and you'll have health issues, and once you get rid of them, a lot of times they
Gone.
go away or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like your
Shocking.
body is basically like going, get away, get away. Like
Yep.
this is not who you need to be with. So, or, whether it's a friend or a partner or anything, really, to be healthy, be with people who have healthy boundaries and who treat you like you treat them. And don't become their caregiver. Because you
Yeah.
become their caregiver, you are suddenly giving away all your power. And, there's a difference if someone's sick and, whatever, but don't ever go in thinking you're going to fix someone. Because, like, if you think you got to go in to fix somebody or you're going to fix somebody, there's no need to be in that relationship. You shouldn't have to fix it. You should be able to build together, not fix somebody and
100%.
at your detriment. Because that's where it comes. It always comes at your detriment. Because those people aren't doing the work to believe or to work on themselves or whatever. And it will just drag you right down.
Yeah, it's true. I have a question. I don't have a question. This is a question from a new a client of mine.
Oh.
Serena, yeah, she asked it. She's listening to our podcast. She started listening to the podcast. And she had a question. So I said, okay, I'm going to say it at the end of our next episode because it's a good one. She actually had two. So I'm going to ask this one because I feel like maybe it goes with this episode. Maybe.
Sounds good.
So she wanted to know. She's only on episode 3 or 4, she said. So she's getting to know us.
Okay.
So she wants to know what scares us about spirituality. Which I had to think about that because she asked me that last night, and I was like, "That's such a good question." To be honest, what scares me about spirituality is I'm not going to say nothing because that's not true. What scares me about spirituality, and maybe it's a lame answer, but it's true, how people weaponize it. I don't. I'll tell you why it scares me because I don't ever want anyone to weaponize it against me. I'm at this time in my life where I know I won't. It won't be weaponized against me because I'm that far along in my journey. But there was a time where I was scared that somebody would. And when I say weaponize it, I mean like, even with, cults, spiritual frauds, that kind of stuff. That is the part of spirituality that scares me because it's taking something that is so amazing and, positive. It's supposed to be full of love and light. And you are making it into something so like negative and dangerous and detrimental to humanity. And that is something that does scare me because sometimes I see it popping up in waves in our culture. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what scares me too is, just like Christianity or whatever, somebody, oh, they're Christian, but I know some that are Christians but are awful 6 days of the week and most of the seventh, but because they go to church, it's all good.
It's resolved.
They're
right?
good.
Like
They're because they're
yeah.
Christian,
Yeah.
but they're doing awful things. And spiritualism or spirituality, people will be drawn into, like here in Alberta, we actually had this man who started some kind of a spiritual thing, and he was very manipulative. He was doing some really awful things to people, and
Lord.
people were going in it because this is spirituality, and this is going to get me to whatever, right? So it's almost like there's a blank slate for their ability to like mind wash you or
Yep.
like get to mess with you because what are you going to question if they seem to know it all, right? If they're saying some guy named Zorro is hanging out over here and you need to do this, this, and this, and this, even though it feels a little bit like, oh, that doesn't seem morally right. But he says it's okay. And this is how you're going to get the promise, get to the promised Zorro land. Too many people are willing to jump right into that and do it because this is what they have learned. And then it gets to a point where by the time they start to realize that they've been taken advantage of, or that they've been swindled, it can be too late.
It's too late.
that
It's
they
most, it's a
money,
lot of times
or
it's too
they're in
late.
some
Yeah.
very dire predicaments, like they've done something bad
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
person. And but because it's under spiritual, being spiritual, or whatever kind of concept that they're trying to convey as a whole, because you can look at this and think like, well, this is what it is, people will just buy into it.
That's it, though. That's it. That's right there. Because it's under the umbrella of spirituality.
It's
There's
really
a lot of
not.
things. No, I was going to say
you know
a lot of things that are under the umbrella of spirituality are not actually under the umbrella of spirituality.
no,
Are not spirituality at all. But
no.
that's the phrase that they say. Well, this is under the umbrella of spirituality. No, it's not.
No.
It's a cult.
Yeah,
Period.
it's a
End of
cult.
story.
And you know I know people try to say that being a medium, stuff like that's a cult. Okay, yeah, I'm sure there are those. And but I never would do that. Like, I would never ever myself have people come to me so that I could manipulate them to doing things for me.
Yeah. Or to give you money.
Yeah, yeah, I would never ever do that. Money for me, and that's a thing that's come to me. I used to struggle with, finances and trying to make ends meet. But as soon as I started getting into this and started trusting and knowing,
That's it. Right there.
now I don't have
Trusting
to
and
worry
knowing.
about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get big bills, things like that. But you know what? I always have enough.
Yeah.
It's always there.
The big bills don't scare you anymore. Like, I will get the big bills and I'm like, "Pfft, it's not even, it's done. And it's done. And it's always done.
Yeah.
That's that level of trust that cynics don't have.
No,
They don't
but
have that level
but a
of trust.
skeptic will.
Skeptic will. Skeptic will. They'll move towards that level of trust eventually. That's what happened with me. That you move to that level of blind trust, and I'm sorry, but you do get rewarded from it.
Oh, absolutely. Because you've opened up to the universe and everything that it is willing to provide,
Yeah.
and that you're
I'm
willing to
excited.
accept. You are.
Because I think this is going to be a good series on TikTok.
I hope so.
And you know what? I will probably move it on to YouTube. Only because there's a lot of people that don't have TikTok, and a lot of people that prefer YouTube over TikTok, anything.
Yeah.
So when Kim starts her series, which this episode will be in the first weekend of May, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So then Kim's starting it in May. So it's like an introduction to it.
And I was thinking about because I want to do it as like interactive, because I want people to get talking and
Do
not
lives.
let us know what's going on. So I was thinking about doing it and then having a live about it after, either like a couple days later or at some point, and be like, hey, I'm going to talk about this. Do you want to join me to talk about this, right? And then that way, people can start to see other points of view, or see some cracks in the armor that you've got,
Yeah.
that's not letting you get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you can maybe
Yeah.
start seeing things in yourself that maybe you're now ready to try to heal, or to do the
it.
work on.
That's it. I was gonna say, it's it to heal, to figure things out. I think it's gonna be exciting. I think people are gonna like it. I think it's gonna be fun. It's not all gonna be boring. Kim is gonna make it fun because she's a fun person. I think I think the lives are a good idea. And I don't know if Kim has a title for it. Do you have a title for it?
Yes, I told you it.
It's
Hold
just
on.
this one? Oh, it's the same episode title. Okay.
No,
I
no.
thought it was different.
Oh, no, for the whole series.
Yeah.
I told you it. Hold on. I do have a title for my
I thought that was the
series.
episode title. Oh, geez.
That-
I better scratch that out then.
No, the episode title, this episode title that I will be talking about, is going to be a skeptic, not a cynic.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But my series that I'm going to do is Stay Open and Stay Wise.
Amazing.
And so it's a journey through modern spiritualism and real life, not just in church, but in parenting, relationship boundaries, and everyday chaos.
Oh, there it is, guys. That's going to
the
be the series. It'll be on TikTok, and I will put on YouTube. I'm going to put on YouTube. Just people, prefer that platform, some people. So we'll put it on YouTube as well. They'll be shortish videos.
Yeah.
And then jump on the lives because Kim will be going live and be part of the conversation. Give your opinion. Tell your stories. If you feel comfortable telling your stories about dealing with people like this, tell your stories. Kim will answer any of your questions.
Yeah. To
Okay.
the best of my ability. But yeah, so that's something that just kind of, I have these weird things that come up, right? And I just went, hey, I need to do a series because I just
Yeah.
have just kept getting these downloads, and they're making me do some deep dives.
Yeah.
So if I'm
And we're
interested in
trying
it,
to get Kim on
somebody else
TikTok.
might be able to. I'm so hard. It's so hard for
I
me to
know.
get
But now with the
feel
series, you're going
comfortable.
to have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can do
Yeah.
it. I can do it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us
Yeah.
today.
It was a good episode. It was a very good episode. I hope you guys liked it. I'm excited for the series. I've said it like 3 times, but I am. I think you guys are really going to like it. Comment, share, like.
Hit the little bell. Hit the little bell.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm gonna say-
yesterday, I had a lady say, I've subscribed to your YouTube channel, but I never know when the videos come. And I said, did you hit the bell? Did you
gotta
hit the
hit the
bell?
bell.
And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
right. So I told her, go hit the bell now. So,
Yeah. Hit the bell.
Yeah.
Hit the bell.
because then they'll pop up.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We will see you next week. Kim's first episode of the series might be on this week after this film, so head on to our TikTok or our YouTube and watch for that, because I'll be uploading it on YouTube and Kim will be uploading it on TikTok. And we hope you guys love it. I think that you will.
I really, really hope you do. And maybe we can do a live between the both of them.
Yes, we will. I'll
'Cause
fit
we're
it in
going
my
to be
schedule.
working that out. So
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I will fit that in my schedule. All right, guys, have a fantastic night and a good week. Bye.
See you again.